world. um, this is Simply Live with Simply Lesa. Sunday morning, uh, the end of October in 2022. I made a mistake earlier and had the phone the wrong direction. And you all know YouTube, or you keep hearing me say YouTube with Android phones, they don't want you to do things. They want things the way they want them. So I have to stop the live in order to go back and turn the phone the other direction. I can't just change it. I have to turn the phone. And I apologize. I knew that the little spot I'm in New Mexico, I knew that the timing was off by an hour, but I had it the wrong direction. So good morning. I'm so sorry that I was, my timing was off. And so I was thinking it was an hour later and it's an hour earlier. So I'm sorry I wasn't here at exactly Arizona time. 9:30 exactly Arizona time. Anyways, I'm here though. And yes, I'm kind of in and out of camera range. Let me get in a seat here. But then the sun shines in the wrong place. So what can I do about the sunshine? Because I had the timing off and I just checked time and went, oh crap, I screwed up. So, hey, I'm human. Y'all know I'm not some, fancy person that is not human. I'm just as human as the next guy. So, I make mistakes. And y'all get to see them because I'm that kind of person. I'm like, y'all just going to have to take me the way I am. I try really hard, though, to... Oh, crap, I'm dropping stuff. You hear crash bangs. I was at a thrift store in the last couple of days with some friends, and it was an actual free thrift store. That's a wonderful thing. It was actually, I'm not sure I can get that bright sun out of the frame for the picture. Y'all know I'm not a photographer, so good morning. You can hear me? Can hear you great, by the way. Wonderful. Thanks for letting me know that. I may have to switch seats and go in the driver's seat so you can see me even better, but I'll keep talking while I'm reorganizing some stuff because, like I said, I had my timing off. Different than it needed to be. Yeah, so some places in the world, there's actually free thrift stores. And so I have some friends that I'm visiting. I probably should be more careful telling the world that. But anyway, because I do try to keep things safe, okay? And there's some stuff I just can't control. And some of that has nothing to do with me. So I just have to let it go. But I found some interesting things at the free thrift store. And I'm so tired. Goodness gracious. The drive here was challenging because I just had a hard day the day that I traveled. It was just a hard day. Y'all have those. I mean, we're human beings. Yeah, and my hair's kind of messy. I saw the part of a comment that said something about how I looked. And I was like, yeah, my hair, probably a little fuzzy and messy. Probably not terrible. Oh, free thrift store? Any of you that know Tupperware know that's a pretty cool piece. If I ever figured out how to sell on eBay, I know how to pick out some good stuff. But I think this was a creamer. I'll have to look it up again, but it's probably worth $35. Anyways, it was at the free thrift store. which means everything in the place was free. You have a list. You can only get so many clothing items for women and so many clothing items for children and so many household goods and things like that. And of course, being a minimalist, I got a couple of blouses, shirts, t-shirts, but I got this because it was like in the just thrown in a free in a thing, and so it didn't count. But I don't know what I'm doing with this. It's just I know what it is. If I could make a couple of bucks, that would be great. I don't know. I might just give it to somebody else who just thinks it's the coolest thing. I thought about putting my coconut milk powder in there for my coffee, but I don't know. I might not. I'm such a minimalist. I probably won't keep it at some point, but I was moving it, so you get to see that. And yeah, I see the sun is changing, or I've switched a little bit so that you can see me a little better without all that sun. Well, no, the sun's still pretty strong there. Let's see. I hope everybody's saying hi to each other. Blocks the sun. It's great lighting. Yeah, I know, but it's like, I don't think. Well, oh, close the door. How's that? That's better, right? Okay. And then if I kind of tilt it like this, I'm in the frame, but not well. Yeah, and I was like, well, that cord will be right in the middle of things. There we go. All right, let me see what y'all are saying. I can't reach my glasses right now, so live chat. I'm pulling up the list. Let's see. Yes, hi everybody. I see pseudonym or something. Iris, hey. Yeah, when the okay, and that you can hear me. Okay, great. That's better, right? My screen on my phone is dirty. I need to clean it. Hey, I'm exhausted. When you come to visit friends sometimes, they have a life going on, and I surprised them. They didn't know I was coming. I have a habit of doing that. Anyway, but I got here and surprised them, and of course, it's their church's 40th anniversary or something. So this weekend has been like a whirlwind of busy, and they're helping some neighbors with some things. And so it's just been, oh, we got to go here. We got to go do. Okay. So, you just suck it up. And for me, I just rebraid my hair without brushing it so it's not too fuzzy, and you just go. Well, this morning I woke up and I was like, guys, I'm too tired and I have my live. So, yeah, the friend with the puppy. Yes. These people are lovely, lovely people. Very good friends of mine. I trust these people. Now, y'all know I've had trust issues because I've had a lot of awkward, sometimes abusive relationship stuff in my younger past. And I have worked very, very hard in my adult life, and especially since I returned from Costa Rica. But I've spent a lot of years in therapy and still in therapy, healing from all that mess. Hi from Alabama, whomever that was. So, Janet. So, it's just been like crazy busy, and I'm tired, and I forgot that the timing was an hour off until I checked it last night because I wanted to be ready for the video this morning. And knowing that y'all are becoming such a cool community out here that I don't want to miss it. I don't want to, I don't want to put out a thing that says that we're not going to have a video for some reason, because I think that y'all are starting to maybe not form a dependency. That sounds a little awkward, but I think that y'all are enjoying it so much. I don't want to deprive you of having the opportunity to come together because I come out here and yak. And it gives us all a chance to like say hi to each other. And I'm loving this. So I'm hoping that this winter, before I go to Baja, I'm hoping that we can, some of us, meet up in a nice warm location. And maybe we can meet on a Sunday morning and set up the phone somehow. I think that would be kind of fun. So let's start chatting about that. So yeah, travel. So when I went to leave the cabin, of course it had rained and snowed, and the roads were a little bad, and so I thought I was leaving early in the morning, and I was going to drop some things off to some friends who do the farmers market in Witchwell, and that whole morning, everything I did, it was like, man, can I be more slow? Can I not want to do this? Can I, it was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to move around. I don't want to, I don't know. It was just, I was slow and whatever. So the kind of loose plan I had was to be at the shop seeing Stan at like 10 o'clock. I didn't get there till 2 in the afternoon. I was there and I was kind of in a wonky mood. So I tried to stay away from people and sit in a car and wait. And I was like, I don't know what is up with me. We changed the oil in the car, and I had the guys drive it, just double check from a mechanic standpoint before I went on a trip. And so I was like, well, I don't know what's wrong with me. Probably nothing, but whatever. It was just the way the day went. So I spent a few hours taking a nap or sleeping or whatever early in the evening in Springerville. Should I be telling you guys where I've been and where I'm at? I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, and then where I was going to drive, I was very much aware I was going through the mountains, and there'd been a lot, even just going from St. John's to Springerville, there were 2 herds of deer, and not elk, but deer. And usually I see elk, not deer in that section, but there were 2 big herds of deer. And I was like, wow, I better be careful, because this little car, the deer, the animal is going to win, whatever it is. And, I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to hurt the animals. So I was like, well, I better be really wide awake if I'm going to drive through the mountains, because of the animals. And driving at night with animals is dangerous. So I don't know. I slept for a while in Springerville, and then I went on through the mountains. And I got to see an owl hunting. And I probably saw 5 herds of elk or deer until I finally was at a stage where I was like, you know what, I better, just for safety's sake, I better just find a place to park the car for the night and climb in and sleep. And that's what I did. And then the next morning I got coffee, and the sun was up a little. And so I got to watch the sun rise as I did more driving. And so, yes, I am down visiting the friends with a puppy. And they have 2 other dogs. They love pit bulls, and that little puppy is pit bull. And I'm not a pit bull person, but that's okay. Anyways, so yeah, that's what's going on. And I'm tired, and I know in that little quick video I looked tired to me. I'm tired. It's been busy. But that's the way it is. So what do y'all got for questions this week? Oh, okay. Yeah, Janet, crazy weather. Yeah. I keep a watch on what's going on in the weather and stuff. I just reorganized the back of the car this morning a little bit, because yesterday being Sabbath, I tried to lay low. And so right here, I'm going to point at some things in the back view. That's the Instaprivy. And I kind of just hung the loop on the back handle of the door. It's very short, but I can like get under it. And when I can get under it, but right now it's just hanging there. And so that Instaprivy is kind of useful. I've used it a lot here because the location I'm in is very close to a highway with semi trucks and stuff. And then I did get the little table. Can you see that? Can you see that flat space back there? That flat, right? Oh, wait, wrong hand. You can't see my finger. All right, let me put my finger out here. I don't see the finger in the camera. Okay. Okay, can you see that finger? Okay, making a circle. That flat space, that's that little 20-inch by 40-inch table from Walmart. I finally found one here close to where they are in New Mexico. And it was $37. It sits on top of the two ammo crates I have in the back really nicely and makes my bed a much more comfortable platform. And yes, I have some things, kitchen-y things kind of sitting on there right now. Because I did make coffee back there this morning. And my taste buds are kind of still off from having had COVID. So I don't know, you know, food tastes nasty. I don't know what I'm doing with that. Because I don't know what to do about the whole, it tastes gross. Let's see. This orange, okay. I have some clothes on the back of the seat because I was thinking it was, you know, an hour off in time. My timing was off. So let's see if I can turn this. This orange is my new Recovery Tracks. Recovery Tracks, the brand name that most people recognize is Max Track. These are not Max Tracks. Max Tracks are between $200 and $300 for a pair. I can't afford that. But I found a set that was less expensive. My tracker is lighter weight, so it shouldn't bend them. But these should hold up in weight and whatever. And so for right now, they are bungeed. I don't know that I can show you that. I don't know that you can see this. These are sleeping bag bungee cords. So I just bungeed these onto the back of my driver's seat just so that they're in the car with me right now. So for right now, those are here. And I did bring my Kelly kettle with me, although right here at this location, I don't have anything to burn in that to boil water. So that's that. And then I haven't finished cleaning up. I did bring my little lap blanket, you know, a $2 one from Dollar General or something, a little fleece one. But sometimes if you're sitting up in the car reading or something, that's kind of nice to have. And then I use Walmart camp pillows. They're about $3, and the pillowcases don't cost. You've seen those in other places. Anyways, there's 2 here. I have 3 in the car. And I like that size pillow for me. That's for me. Yeah. And so they fill in little lumpy spots in the bed or whatever I need them to do. And then this is my tote bag with my, the blue tote bag with clothes in it. Clothes and other stuff, like my bathroom bags in there right now. Yeah. But I thought I'd come on and we'll get to talk a little bit, and then I don't know what I'm doing because I'm tired. It's been good, but I'm tired. And this is, I have the phone is on the Rock Pals charging, and so that's that cord I'm trying to get out of your way so you don't have to see the cord. There you go. So, what do you guys got for questions today? I thought I could talk. I think it's wise to not drive at night because of the animals. I think that can be a very wise thing. Okay, so I haven't seen any questions today. Am I on my way to Baja? It is a little early for the people I was going with to Baja. So I don't think I'm on my way quite yet. because I'd like to do a couple more things to the car before I actually go, but I'm not sure about that right this second. So let's say I'm on my way, but not on my way, right? Okay. I don't want to be at the cabin with 3 feet of possible 3 feet of snow again. You know, I've done that how many times? Last week, I've forgotten who, but somebody said, why don't you talk about bug out bags for nomads? And that's a good subject. So I'm willing to talk about bug out bags for nomads. If that's a good subject, we'll talk about that for a few minutes. One of the things that I think is rather important when you're trying to decide to have a bug out bag in your rig, okay? Or in your life. It doesn't have to be in a rig, okay? Rig being RVs, vans, whatever. Cars, SUVs. I love my SUVs. Bug out bags, though, in my humble opinion, in my lifestyle with my things going on too, I think you need to consider weight. And I mean like how heavy things are. And you need to consider how far you can walk. So a good guideline to start with, in my humble opinion, is how far do you think you can walk in one day? Okay. And that's without tiring yourself out to a point where you will not be able to walk the next day. So, in my humble opinion, I believe that I might not be able to do it the first day I go out, okay? But I know that my body can handle walking 10 miles if it's flat surface, okay? So if I had to walk on a flat pavement without going up a hill or down a hill, okay? I believe that I could walk 10 miles in a day. I would probably go a couple of miles and rest, and a couple of more miles and rest, right? But I could probably walk 10 miles in a day. When I hiked on the Appalachian Trail, I was doing between 10 and 15 miles until I got sick. Now, if I'm sick, I might only be able to walk 5 miles. Okay? So, first off, consider how far you think you could walk in one day and not wear yourself out. Then, how much weight can you carry and still walk those 10 miles? Okay? So, for me, I know I can walk between 5 and 10 miles in a day without any trouble. Okay? But now, if I'm going to carry weight, I know I can carry, I'm out of shape a little bit, but not horribly. And so I know I can carry 20 pounds in a backpack or whatever, right? But I could carry, not in my arms, okay, because that would be awkward to do. But I could carry 20 pounds and walk between 5 and 10 miles in a day. And over time, doing that daily, I would get stronger and I would be able to, probably do 10 miles with probably 28 pounds. Okay. So in a bug out bag situation, you want to consider the weight of every single thing, including the bag itself. Okay. And a lot of bags, if you go buy a fancy backpack, and it doesn't even have to be super expensive fancy backpack, but say you go buy a Kelty backpack, they're lovely, okay? They're heavier weight, or you go, and they're not as expensive as, say what's that brand name? They're not as expensive as, say, some of the fancy brand name things, right? That are $400 or whatever. So, and I can't even think of a brand name right now. I mean, but say you went for a Kelty, which is a good quality, but it's a lower priced piece. You're still going to pay a good $100. And, but the backpack itself is going to weigh 3 pounds. So it limits how much stuff you can put inside of it because it weighs 3 pounds to start with. So I tend to prefer to have deconstructed backpacks that weigh more like a few ounces instead. And now if you've got money, you can go for an ultralight backpackers thing like Hyperlight is a brand name, or a Z-Packs. I would love a Z-Packs. Okay. But you could get those, or Mountain Hardware, and you get a pack that's very lightweight and it only weighs a few ounces. Now the stuff you put in it can weigh more, so you could carry more stuff. And if, like a lot of people out here, you have health issues or whatever, and you're not sure you can even carry anything, there's nothing wrong with getting one of the rain ponchos that cost a couple of dollars. Maybe you can get them from a Dollar Tree or a Dollar General or something like that. Or they're made for like at water parks or something. And they're very thin plastic. They're going to get a hole punched in them and they're going to be no good. But at least you have a way to keep the weather off of you if you need to. And so in an emergency situation, it doesn't weigh hardly anything and you could take that. Take 2. And then you have one if it gets ripped, right? If you think you can't carry much and it's only your bug out bag and it's not something that you're going to invest in because you want to be able to use this stuff or survive the zombie apocalypse or something, just take a couple of Mylar emergency blankets. They're very lightweight. They're very useful. I've even used them on cars. You could put them on the crossbars on a car in the desert and keep the car a few degrees cooler. But you have to have a way to either tape them on or clip them on or something. But what I'm saying, my point is that you can make this bag weigh like 3 pounds. Okay, get a bag that only weighs a few ounces, right? Okay, yes, Janet, sort of, yeah, but Janet, if you're in the desert, where are you going to find the water to filter? You're not. So you have to decide where you might break down or where you spend more of your time to know which one of the water things to consider. But yes, if you're in, say, Colorado, where there's a lot of water, a lot of rivers, then you would have that. Ability to just carry a filter or a straw or something and rely on the natural water in your location. But if you're in the desert, you might not want to depend on that. You might want to learn how to make water in a plastic bag. Because in the sun, if you leave something in a plastic bag, the bag will sweat and you can use that emergency water. But you may need to carry some water with you, and you might need to plan your route if that's even available to you to plan, right? So that you can get near water, or that you can get near a cattle tank to get water. But my point being, water is an issue because without water, you aren't staying alive very long. But in your bug out bag, have a way to get, make, purify water if it's possible. And I don't have any problem at all. Okay, I'm old school. You do this at your own risk. I don't have any problem if I keep a little tiny eyedropper bottle with some Clorox in it. Okay, not flavored, smelly Clorox. Old original Clorox. A couple of drops in the nastiest looking gray brown water that you've been able to get as much particles out of as you can by running it, pour it through a bandana and take the crap out of it as much as you can, and put a couple of drops of Clorox and wait a while, or boil it for 5 minutes and wait a while. You can drink that. It's not fun, It looks nasty. You have to like close your eyes and pinch your nose and just drink it. But in certain situations, it's better than not having a way to do it. So do your research, look for what you need, make sure you have different make sure you have, hats to protect your head from too much sun. Bandanas can be attached to the back of the hat to keep your neck from getting sunburned. And if you can afford it, of course, take some sunscreen if that works for you, or take some butt paste zinc for babies. That's the white stuff people put on their nose to keep their nose from sunburning. Zinc is wonderful stuff. Hey, Mojave, hi, hey. So, there are lightweight options for a bug out bag. You could make a bug out bag out of a little string bag. They don't cost hardly anything, that you could get at Dollar Tree for what, $1.25, or you could get from a thrift store for like next to nothing, right? Or you can get from an event where they're given out as like swag bags. But you can put a couple of Mylar emergency blankets in there. I would take 2 of the little plastic ponchos just in case they're useful. You could lay it on the ground, sleep on top of if you have to. You could do stuff with this. Put in some paracord or just string if you don't have any other. Mason's twine is really strong, thin, lightweight. Get some, put it in the bag so that you have string in order to tie something up. A lighter would be a good idea, but if you don't have a lighter, you don't have a lighter. If you can have matches in a little waterproof case, that's a good idea, but you got to have something to strike matches on these days. They don't work the same. Don't forget, take something to gather water in. If you've got to, for weight wise, if you're elderly and you can't walk and you're not sure you're going to be able to walk, take one of those little bottles that's flat plastic and can, when you put water in it, it can, expand. Don't forget to wrap some duct tape around something. Duct tape is useful sometimes. But make yourself something that you yourself can carry just in case, and that'll be your bug out bag. If you can eat stuff like emergency food things, right? I think it's $12 even at Walmart. You can buy a big block of this emergency food block that's supposed to keep you alive, and it's wheat and sugar and I don't know what else. I couldn't eat it. Within real quick, I wouldn't be able to walk and I probably would get sick. I might even, I don't think it would kill me, but if you can eat those things, buy a block of it. If it's too heavy for you, cut it, put it in plastic bags, or take a few food bars and stick them in the bag with you. This bag, a bug out bag, is not about being comfortable. A bug out bag is not about having food you love to eat. A bug out bag is about, I need this to survive if I've got to walk 10 miles through the desert to get to a safety. Okay? So just remember those things and keep the thing lightweight. And at least you could try to keep yourself a little more alive in an awkward situation and in an emergency situation. And then if you have to lock your car up and walk away from it for some reason because it broke down or something, take the bag with you just in case. That way, if you end up spending a night at a homeless shelter, or you have to spend a night in somebody's house and you don't know the person, at least you have enough stuff with you that you could kind of keep yourself safe. That's what it's all about. Okay. And if you know how to use a ferro rod has no sharp edges. It is metal, but it's friction and striking it a certain way that makes a spark that allows you to make a fire. But a ferro rod, even a homeless shelter, won't take the ferro rod away from you because there's nothing sharp. And so some of these things, you got to think ahead that way. A bottle of liquid, somebody might take it away from you, like the Clorox thing. But if you can afford the little tablets, nobody's really going to take the tablets away from you. They will take glass away from you. They will take string away from you if you end up at a homeless shelter. But, you've got to use your mind and think ahead a little bit. And what would help you in that situation? If if you don't walk well and you need a hiking stick, make sure you've got a hiking stick with your bug out bag so that when you get ready to walk, you grab that hiking stick so that you're not going to be without the support you need to do what you've got to do. So all these things need to be designed for you, not for somebody else. And you can buy, emergency water bottles that have all kinds of stuff inside of them, but this stuff might not even work for you. I'm allergic to ibuprofen. If a first aid kit that is on me has ibuprofen, somebody could kill me with that stuff. So I got to make sure my stuff's got the medicine I need. So it's the same thing with your bug out bag. You want to make sure it's got what you need in it. And if you can't carry much, make it light. What else can I say? Yeah, it's nice if you have a shirt in there, but if you can't carry it, then exactly, there you go, Iris. You would need your diabetic socks and shoes. Yeah, okay. But you're going to be having your diabetic socks and shoes with you anyways. So if you have to bug out, you're going to go, wait a minute, I better put on the best pair of those things because I might not be able to carry extra ones with me, right? But Mylar emergency blankets they work. They work. They're not going to work the same way. If you've never used them, they don't work the same way as a regular blanket, but you probably can't carry a blanket. I could carry some of the items I own because I have worked hard on investing in things that are ultra lightweight because I want to keep my gas mileage. And for me, I want to use the same thing in my car, in my cabin, and if I had to hike. I might want to go hike and camp again. And I like hiking and sleeping in the woods. So I may do some of those things. Hi, C-Dub. Chilly San Diego, huh? So, okay, let me go back because somebody did ask some questions. I'm touching the screen to see if I can go back and see the other QQQs. All right, it's not letting me see. There we go. Good morning from, Clorox in a small bottle would work, yes. But in some places, you've got to bring water in some places. Oh, you know what? I actually have been Google weather. I lost my weather. Weather Street used to have a Witchwell, Arizona weather report, and they don't anymore. So, do you have a playlist of top 10 camping gear? Top 30 would be better. Wow. Okay. Top 10 camping gear. You got me thinking now. Well, an ultra lightweight bedding system. Okay. What does that mean? For some people, it means sleeping bag. For some people, it does not. For some people, it means wool blankets. I have a tendency to like the natural fiber things. At some point, I probably will switch over to wool blanket with a liner in case the itchy bothers me. Well, it shouldn't. I'm not allergic to wool. But there's a reason why cowboys had blankets, not sleeping bags, and why hunters nowadays, currently, people who hunt currently use blankets, not sleeping bags. You guys have any idea why they use blankets? Because sometimes wild animals come up into camp where you're sleeping, cowboys, hunters, and they can be dangerous animals, and you don't have time to unzip a sleeping bag or get the zipper stuck and not be able to get out. And so in order to get out of the bedrolls are typically not made with sleeping bags. Bedrolls are typically made out of canvas or waxed canvas and wool blankets, and but it's so that you can escape the burrito thing quick enough to protect yourself from a wild animal. So I think that it's a pretty good idea. I mean, there's been times when I had to get out of my bedding quickly to go to the bathroom, and I don't want to pee my pants, right? But I'm getting older, and in order to do that, not having to have zippers is helpful sometimes. So you might want to choose, but I think an ultra lightweight, warm for your body. Now, I tend to sleep cold, so I want more warmth. When I choose a sleeping bag, I often choose a 0-degree sleeping bag. Well, quilt. I like quilts. So, oh yeah, oh yeah. And rattlesnakes are a thing, but taking a rattlesnake kit, unless you know how, and I mean really know how to use a snake bite kit, you don't do it, because if you do it wrong, you can die faster. So if you don't know how to use it, don't take it. Yes, there are rattlesnakes that are a problem. Rattlesnakes in the desert, if it's starting to get cold, they can sense your body heat and they can come toward your body looking for a warm place to snuggle up. And there are stories of people, years and years back, waking up with the rattlesnakes inside the sleeping bags with them. So I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm saying that to be know your stuff. Learn about the animals in the places that you frequent. Have an idea what you would do if you had to. I mean, I don't like the idea of having that happen. I did have one time one of the tents that I love, but in the desert, I don't love it. The floor was attached to the walls with industrial Velcro, but where the corners of the tent were, there were little puckers. And I was in Nevada, and it was starting to be fall, and the weather temperatures were starting to change. And there was a baby sidewinder rattlesnake trying to climb in the hole of my in the gap in the corner of the Velcro. And we're talking teeny weeny rattlesnake, okay? But they've got more venom than the adults do. And that's when I stopped using that tent. As much as I loved the tent and the company, I couldn't do it anymore. I ain't trying to go out like that. So I don't use that tent any longer for that reason. There's, of course, if it's our time, there's not much we can do about it, right? But I hope I'm not going out that way. I doubt I am. But know your stuff and be careful with your stuff and pay attention to what's going on. But let's see what else. Okay, so you asked me about my 10 or 30 most camping gear. So an ultra lightweight, warm for me, right? Sleeping setup, bed setup, sleeping setup. In my preferred world, it would not have an air mattress. But because of my age and weight for carrying things, and for comfort, because sometimes I would like all my things to be the same. I'd kind of like to have a Thermarest Topo air mattress. It's 2.5 inches thick, 25 wide by 72 long. It's very ultra lightweight, folds up into a very tiny package. And then there's a very tiny battery operated air inflator. Now they make a bag inflator, but I don't want to mess with that. So I could do the bag because then there's no batteries involved, but whatever. Right? There's a rechargeable one too. But anyways, I would probably do that air mattress. I would probably do a because I don't do well with the down. I would probably do a 0 degree or a -5 or 15 degree top quilt. That's kind of a sleeping bag with no zippers. I would probably look into the ultralight Zen Bivy bedding. They don't make one 25 inches wide right now, but it's basically a bedroll, but they don't make a narrow one yet. I asked them about it. They make a nice sheet set that can go over an air mattress. But anyways, so Zen Bivy, love their stuff. I can't afford it right now. Thermarest, I could make up a set of my own that would work well. What I have right now is too heavy for me to carry, but I would probably just grab the 35 degree sleeping bag I have, stuff it in a bag, and go with it. I mean, because I could handle that in an emergency situation. It's what I'd have to do. Okay, so let's see. Ultra lightweight bedding situation. Because of me and the way I have to eat, and I can't just eat raw vegan like I used to, I have to cook my food. So I would grab something to cook with. That's why I have some titanium pots. I would grab a couple of those. Probably I would grab a fry pan and a pot. I would grab a little stove thing I have that can burn wood, that's a pot stand and can burn wood as well as stick a can of sterno in it or whatever. I would grab that because I would find something to burn. If I'm out in the desert, I would burn cow poop in an emergency. Okay. And I don't care if I cook over it. I'd probably cover my pot, but I don't care. It'll keep bugs off too. But that's going a little, okay. So vital camping gear. So an ultra lightweight bedding situation, ultra lightweight cook set. But this is my opinion. Not everybody else agrees with me. I think layered clothing. That's why you see me wearing leggings, even though I got a big butt, and I don't think in a fashion sense it looks really great. I don't give a flying flip anymore. I'm not 20 anymore trying to be cute. I'd love to be cute, okay? But I've got body things that have happened over the years, and I never could get the surgery for the loose skin and all of that. So now it's just being practical. Okay. So, I still do barefoot shoes. I would still do barefoot shoes. I would love a pair of barefoot boots. I like the Lems company, the look of the Lems companies. I also like the look of the, Lems has a pair of boots that I just think are the bomb. But I also like the look of Zero shoes, and they have a pair of boots. And what's the other company that does hiking boots that are zero drop or barefoot? I can't think of them right now. But anyways, there's 3 or 4 companies. Love their stuff. I would love a pair of Vibram 5-finger hiking boots. I'm not sure they make them anymore. They used to make some leather ones, but I know they're not making those anymore. So, so layered clothing. Layers is big anywhere in the hiking community because you can regulate your temperature by putting on more clothes or taking off more clothes. And so if you buy quality clothes, you don't have to own as much to regulate your temperature. And make sure you have, you know, a hat, a beanie for sleeping, a pair of gloves. Make sure you have good socks for sleeping, right? I have wool socks I can sleep in if I want to, but I kick them off a lot. My feet get hot. So let's see. In my opinion, ultra lightweight sleeping system, layering clothes, ultra lightweight, in my opinion, titanium, sorry about the finger, titanium cook pots because they can be used on fire or on other things. But you got to learn how to cook in them. Yeah, Vibram soles are on my shoes, even if they're cheap shoes, just because of cactus in the desert. I walk barefoot as much as I can. It's important. Rewild yourself. Walk barefoot as much as you can. So titanium cook set, because for me, I have to cook food. I can't eat the raw. I'll be sick. You know, even in a survival situation, I'll do the best I can. Water purification, go with an ultra lightweight setup. Don't go crazy, but I think that's an important camping. I'm on the 10 camping, not on the survival. I'm trying to refocus myself here. Let's see. So water purification of some kind, or being able to boil it, which goes hand in hand with your kitchen set. Let's see. And then I am not a proponent of power for camping. I'm not. But take a phone, if you've got one. Get yourself some kind of small battery thing that can be recharged. If you can do some kind of, I think a headlamp is important, but this is on the, I'm saying this as my fifth thing on the power side of things, okay? Communications and power, let's call it that. I think take a phone. I think this is an inexpensive, it'll charge my phone one time, battery pack. I prefer Anchor battery packs. You can get a 200,000 milliamp hour Anchor battery pack that is about the size of a phone to carry. And whether you can get the 200,000 milliamp or 100,000 milliamp Anchor battery pack. There's a reason Anchor brand is the preferred for ultralight hikers. There's a reason for that. They work. They don't fall apart. You know, they work. When you can get near power, you charge them. When you can't, you use them, and then when you get near power, you recharge them. But Anchor brand works, is lightweight, and it ought to be about $50. And it will recharge your phone, the Anchor one, not this one, will recharge your phone up to, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, okay? And so I prefer that over battery packs, even in my car, okay? There are ways to have, I got to reach outside the door. There are ways to have some, I like rechargeable communication electronics, things like that are battery powered. I like rechargeables. I want a rechargeable Petzl ultra lightweight mini. It has bands, little cords instead of a wide headband. And so it doesn't weigh hardly anything to carry. But you can have something. I wouldn't carry this in my backpack, but you can have something like, this is a Lucy string light. Okay. Lucy string lights can close up, or you open them and then, right, they come out. But they have, this is how you recharge them, okay? But they also will charge with the sun, okay? There is a Lucy light that's inflatable. That's an outdoors one. I didn't find that they lasted long anymore, okay? But they will help you charge a battery pack or a phone. I have charged this Walmart battery pack. It's like $6 at Walmart or something like that. I've recharged this one with this in the sun, okay? So it's possible. But I wouldn't carry this one because this Lucy light is heavier than the inflatable ones, okay? But I'm just saying, the inflatable ones, the plastic doesn't hold up anymore. But in a pinch, if you could take one, take an Emerge. The Emerge is the cheaper one, and it has a red flashy light on it in case you need it. And or, take one, though, that you can charge a battery pack off the solar panel. So having a solar panel, even in the East Coast, even where it's wet in other climates, some people in the Pacific Northwest talk about how it's too cloudy to sure it is. But if you're taking a battery pack, you're going to charge it on the sunny day the best you can. And then when you get near town and you can plug it in somewhere and charge it, you're going to do that. And keep this as full as you can, but it'll charge your phone. And if you get a battery pack, like an Anchor battery pack, fill it up. It'll last 5 or 6 days or whatever. It'll charge your phone a lot of times. Okay, so that's as far as electronics goes. I don't care about, personally, I don't care about, what are they called? Garmin InReaches. I don't care about Bivy is another brand, because I can't afford the monthly fee to have those things on. And then even if I could afford the monthly fee, if I push the emergency button and they send a helicopter, I can't afford to pay for the helicopter. So why am I going to do that? Our phone has an SOS thing built into them now. It's a federal government thing that they had to put those on in the last few months. So they updated your software and your phone can do all those things. That doesn't mean I can pay for the helicopter if the phone comes. So I probably won't choose personally to do that. You might. That's okay. You can, if you could do that and you want to do that, go for it. Let's see. So that was my 5 things. I didn't get us 10. You said 10 things. So then camping things. I think a good tarp, camping things, that would be a 6th thing. A good tarp and learn how to put it up. Tarp including paracord and tent stakes. Get them lightweight, get it ultra lightweight so you can throw it in your backpack and use it for other things. If you can't afford it, learn how to turn an emergency blanket, those little silver Mylar ones, learn how to turn that into a tarp and use it. I mean, even if you're super poor, they're 99 cents, maybe $2, and you can learn how to tie those up and use them. Learn how. It's cheaper than not having anything. It's wise. So let's see, that would be, so that's my 6th thing, is a tarp with the appropriate stuff to deal with. You can always use a rock to pound your stakes in the ground. If there's no rocks and you're in a car, you can take a mallet with you or a hammer. If you don't have that, you might have your poop trowel, and you might be able to save your hands by using that to bang it down in. Okay, let's see. So that would be a tarp, I think, is a 5th one. Okay. Camping. I'm thinking camping. Any suggestions? What am I missing? Well, so I've done bedding, clothing, cooking, water purification. I'm trying to remember what I did. Communication and electronics, tarp. Tent types. I can mention tents. Okay. I do not, The goal is for me to have an ultra lightweight, probably Cuban fiber tent in my hiking bug out bag car situation. I don't own one right now. Personally, yeah, that's it. Socks and gloves in my bedding. Yeah. I mean, in my clothing. So the tent situation, so we'll talk about tents. Tents, ground tents are great. I love a hammock, but you can't use a hammock in every single situation. But you could sleep on top of a hammock. You could turn a hammock into a tarp if you need to. But so tents, hammocks, we'll talk about that together. I don't need it for my everyday sleeping because I sleep inside my vehicles. Okay. So I start off with, I'm going to sleep inside my vehicle. But if I'm going to get a tent, personally, I'm going to get an ultra lightweight. If I can afford it, I'm going to go for a Cuban fiber. Okay. It's the strongest, toughest, don't poke a hole in it with a knife, but strongest, toughest, it's a funky fiber. It's an upscale fiber, and it's very expensive. Okay, but it weighs next to nothing. You can have a whole tent made by Z-Packs company out of, I think Z-Packs is out of Maine. I think. Z-Packs, it's going to cost you $600 for a tent from them, but it's going to weigh less than a pound for the whole tent. And you're going to need a hiking stick, like a walking hiking stick, to put the tent up. But that's what I would want so that I'd be able to carry the extras on my back if I had to bug out as well. And why not? If I can afford it at some point, that's what I'm going to get. It's the better of for your bug out bag and for like taking a fun hike in the woods. If you can't afford that and you need a tent, then I would say go with something that you think you could carry, right? Or learn to put tarps up. But tent, tarp. Food. Okay, now I'm going to switch over because in this list, I don't know what number I'm on. I forgot. But food and food storage. I would say not in an emergency situation, okay? Because that's a whole different. We're on the 10 list that somebody asked me to do. So food storage. I start with, you guys probably recognize these. I start with these little Mylar. This is the same Mylar of the emergency blanket. So these little Mylar bags, they're $1 or $2. You can get them at Dollar Tree. You can get them at Walmart. You can get them in a lot of grocery stores there beside the freezer section. They'll keep things hot or cold. So I often use them and leave the top open on them and put a damp towel if I'm keeping fresh vegetables. Okay. But I start with these because they're inexpensive. They're expandable and they mush into any space you can put them in. They don't cost $300 like a Yeti cooler does. Are they going to keep, ice and water? Well, they can, but they're not going to like people. Okay, in my humble experience, the way I've seen people use coolers is ridiculous. Okay? I don't understand you people with coolers. Of course, I've been doing things a long time out here. So I do not understand people buying salad in a bag, first off, because it's got chemicals on it to keep it from going bad. Okay? So I don't understand y'all buying stuff the way you buy it, but whatever. And then you buy a big cooler, and you'll buy an expensive cooler, or maybe not. Maybe you get a lifetime one from Walmart that's Rotoplast, made similar to Yetis, and they keep ice a long time and whatever. And then you put everything. You just throw things in the bottom. A gallon of milk, you put in, a thing of bologna and a thing of cheese and then you put your lettuce in there and your salads, and then you just dump ice on top of it. Well, yuck. What a mess. And some of those coolers don't have a drain on them, so you can't drain the cold water out. Okay. And the stuff's going to get gross in the bag, and it's going to, the water's going to seep into the bologna thing, and the cheese is going to get soggy, and it's a mess. That's not how you use a cooler. And anybody, I guess I should apologize for the way I'm talking, but hey, you can Google how to properly use a cooler and not ruin your food. And I know because Carolyn, who does the Boat Galley cookbook, I was going to do some of the things she does back when she first started it, okay? And then when I saw her doing it, I was like, nah, let you do it. I don't want to do that much work. So she's lived on boats a lot, okay? And there's so much we can learn from history and people who lived on boats, or cowboys, or the explorers in the world, right? Who went to weird places. What did they take? How did they eat back then when there was no ice and ice in the winter, right? How did they do things? So, Google, look it up, do the research on how to properly use a cooler. You get something that lifts the food above the water, and you drain off over time. Drain off some of the cool water and keep the harder ice. Or there's a way to use dry ice, which can keep things frozen if you do it right. But look it up so you know how to do it. Don't look it up. There's a way. It's easy. It's simple. You don't have to. I am in a very dry climate. I'd rather dehydrate everything. It's easier on me to dehydrate it. Now, during monsoon season, you got to be careful. Stuff will get wet, get damp. Don't put a wet spoon in your dry ingredients, right? Use Ziploc bags if you need to. Use mason jars if it works for you. Depends on your situation and where you are. But food storage, come on, people. Making a sloppy mess with ice, what's the point? So I keep an ice jug. That's all this is for in my world. Is this one is for me to go to a gas station and say, do you mind if I fill it with ice? Oh, no, go right ahead. Go over to the soda machine, get ice in it, close the top. I don't put any liquid in it at all. And it melts, and I have cold, icy water for 7 days until it's gone, right? Sometimes I use it faster than that, but that's what that jug is for. That's my ice jug. The silver bags, they work. You can keep fresh vegetables in there. Just put a damp cotton like dish towel over the top of them and leave the top open on your fresh vegetables. They'll last days. But don't buy bag salad with the chemicals on them to make them last for weeks. What's the point? Buy actual vegetables, wash them, pat them dry so they have a little dampness on them. Put them in the bag, leave the bag open. The evaporative nature of the Southwest, where it's more dry, will keep those from going bad, and it'll keep them cool, even in a hot car. Now, they won't keep things cool forever, okay? And if you close up your car completely, leave it sitting in the sun in the middle of the desert, and it gets up to being 125 inside, your eggs are going to go bad. Your lettuce is going to rot. It's going to happen. But if it's that hot in your car and it's dry, you could lay the things out and dehydrate them, and they will dry out. Because if you leave a lemon or something out, it's going to get hard as a rock real quick. And so if you cut it in slices, it'll get hard as a rock in slices, and then you can put that in water anytime you want. But okay, food storage. Is that enough of that rant on food storage? I don't know what number I'm on for the 10 things for camping. What personal items do you personally use and need? I don't know you. I do keep an emergency. I keep some Band-Aids in case somebody cuts their finger. I'm older. I don't need tampons and things anymore, but I keep a couple of tampons in my first aid kit in case somebody gets really hurt, or some lady walks by and needs a tampon. Okay. But if somebody gets really seriously cut and they're bleeding profusely, a tampon will suck up that blood and help you clean up. And you can use it as kind of part of a bandage situation in a really serious emergency. But you need to know how to use these things or they're useless to you. And I just learned this summer about heat exhaustion. I didn't know I was getting heat exhaustion evidently quite often while I've been in Arizona, and didn't really realize that was what was happening to me. I know I tend to get dehydrated pretty easy. So now most of my foods are more liquidy, soupy. I love iced coffee. Now, I make my own iced coffee, and I make it from cold leftover coffee, ice, or cold water, and coconut milk. And none of those things, I can buy powdered coconut milk. You could buy instant coffee to make it with, because you could shake it in a shaker jar. I do have a Contigo shaker jar that I use for my iced coffee. And sometimes I even make my coffee in that so that I have extra, so I have more than I want in the morning. I don't know what else to tell you guys. I don't think I had 10 things there, but something to occupy your mind and keep you busy. Sometimes when I go in thrift stores, I'll buy a book. I have plans. I don't have them here with me now, but I have plans to have some kind of hikers games, right? Like, I'd love Risk. I like to play Risk. The old version. I haven't played Risk in years, but a deck of hikers cards are tiny, or whatever, whatever you can read or see or whatever, but have something to read. Have a card game you can play, something that's not on your phone, something actual physical you could touch and play. Okay, there you go. I have one of the rechargeable lighters. I leave it at the cabin to use for candles because I don't like them for starting an actual fire. My opinion, but I don't think they work well for starting a fire. I'm not a Bic lighter person, as they work. Hikers swear by Bic lighters. Got it. But I don't smoke, and I don't smoke weed. I'm allergic to both tobacco and marijuana, okay? So I don't do those things. So I always burn my thumb when I strike those lighters. So even when I'm hiking, I tend to take matches with something to strike them on. I need to get a ferro rod. I had one, but I think somebody walked off with it. I usually take a longer lighter, a long lighter. But the reason that I do the long lighters is because I, being allergic to propane and butane being mixed with propane, I tend to use sterno and alcohol stoves, and they tend to go poof when you light them. So yeah, and butane does not. Butane, which Bic lighters are butane, but they're not mixed with propane in the Bic lighters. And so those lighters, even the long ones, they don't work when it's cold, wet, or rainy, like she said, or windy. But if you keep them close to your body and get your body heat on them, you can warm them up enough so that they can work. But you do have to, use back when we were talking about my cooking and my kitchen stuff, in this number 10 list, I said titanium. I have a reason for titanium. But a windscreen is important for that cook kit because you never know what you're going to be using. And sterno needs a windscreen. Alcohol needs a windscreen. Even your butane stoves, if you're using those in your vans and whatnot, they need a windscreen. And because the wind will put those out in a heartbeat. So, and sometimes your little fire, if it's too windy or rainy or whatever, you gotta protect it. I hope I've done good. I'm fairly certain I didn't hit 10, but I put things together kind of in categories. So, like I'm on a lectin-free, gluten-free, dairy-free diet because of my health issues, okay? And my food allergies. So there are lots of things I can't eat that the average person can eat. I can't eat corn. I can't. So corn chips, corn, all that stuff, can't eat it. So yeah. So I tend to also, like even in an emergency situation, I try to have some food I can take with me because I don't know if I'm going to find something I can eat. And so, I mean, even in my everyday carry bag, which is a little tiny fanny pack, neoprene fanny pack thing, I try, right now I don't have anything in it, but I try to have something that I can eat because, like, I went to church with Candy and Rick the other day, with my friends the other day, and they had a potluck at church. In fact, they have a potluck at church today that I'm missing because I'm on here with you guys. And I cooked something to take. Okay, so I sent it with them. And but when we got there, there was nothing I could eat. Nothing. And I was hungry, and I made an executive decision to eat something I should not have, which gave me ucky bathroom stuff. A fly. It gave me ucky bathroom stuff. I've healed up my IBS, but I actually had very loose BM, TMI, right? But I had very loose BM for 2 days because I chose to eat something because I was very hungry. And so I was like, yeah, look, guys, just because I never know what situation I'm going to be in when I'm riding with somebody else. With my car, I have my whole kitchen and I have food and everything in here. So I'm good if I have my car with me. But if I'm with somebody else, I have to remember and have something to eat with me. Or at least take some extra coconut milk creamer or something. I don't have any coconut milk creamers in the little sticks right now, but when I can get them, if I put a couple of those in my little everyday carry bag, then I can at least grab a coffee and have enough, not that I think calories matter, but have enough like calories in my cup of coffee so I'm not, screaming with hunger. So that's helpful. Whew. How'd we do? Did we get, let me see if there's any more. Let me check your messages. Thanks for the great advice. Okay, yeah. Okay, you'll do replay. Sterno, yeah. Sterno is great. I do need to do some good how-to videos on how to cook with sterno. I really need to. I know that because I don't see them on videos on YouTube very much. And look, I've been doing it so many years that I know how to regulate the temperature by using a new sterno can. Hot, boils fast, makes the quick boil, right? A half full can from 2 days ago is like a medium heat. And a low heat is the can that's almost empty, but you got to make sure it keeps burning. Okay? Because it'll put itself out if you don't. You got to shake it a certain way, get some air in it, make sure there's a way to do it. And I've learned because I've done it for so many years and it works. And you can use it for a fake, you can use for a fake fire pit when there's a burn ban. You can use a metal can big enough. We used to get metal coffee cans, but coffee cans are mostly plastic now. So you got to have a metal can big like an old coffee can, okay? And you get a big one and you can fit a roll of toilet paper down in it. And you can pour rubbing alcohol in there. You don't want to cook on this because it's messy and will leave soot on pots. But if you just pour rubbing alcohol in it, you can make a fake fire pit. It uses the toilet paper as a wick. And somebody like me who can't sit around a propane fire pit can sit around that fire. It's not going to make you super, super warm, but it will work. And often people with asthma can kind of be around that kind of a fake fire when there's a fire ban. And if you're careful with it, a ranger will not give you a hard time. I've done it. So, okay. I don't know what else to say. I feel like I'm talked out. I'm not sure I gave you 10 items for camping, but I don't consider a chair a have to, but I think something to sit on is wise. But you can sit on your emergency blanket. You can sit on your Mylar bag that you have for vegetables. In a pinch, you can sit on those. Right now, I only have a stool in the car, a four-legged stool, because I need to get a new chair for the car, because the car's so small. And the what I was carrying before was a little large. Wind guard for your little stove, yeah. Yeah, I've seen that too. It can work. You gotta be careful with that, aluminum foil stuff. And aluminum foil can burn. It doesn't. You know that if you've ever baked a potato in aluminum foil. If you use the lightweight aluminum foil, you can burn it and burn your potato. So yeah, I'm not saying it will catch fire. It won't. But I need to be careful about being around aluminum, or not aluminum foil because it's so thin, but when I use aluminum foil for food, which is easier to carry sometimes, I actually put a piece of parchment paper between the foil and my food, and that helps me protect my body a little more from the metal stuff. I don't know what else we need. Sure, if you're going to use soaps, be careful with soaps to use things that are better for the earth. I like Dr. Bronner's, but I'm not in love with Dr. Bronner's. There are some things it does that it just dries out. And it dries out my hair pretty badly. And then I have to do special things to, if I use it for shampoo, so I don't. Baking soda and vinegar works very good for everything, including shampoo and hair rinse. I brush my teeth with baking soda, and if I have peroxide around, I use peroxide for a mouthwash thing. But to be honest, olive oil as a mouthwash is wonderful. They call it oil pulling in some places. I use olive oil on my skin. I have been really slacking on that, so you see more dry skin because I just forget to do it. I go through a lot of paper towels when I'm in the car, but when I'm hiking, I use bandanas. Some of it is, if I'm going to build a fire, I can burn the paper towels. It's easier. Some of it's about being simple. I don't know. I'm a fan of bungee balls if you're car camping. Bungee balls. Bungees with hooks on them, yeah, to a degree. I think for on the outside of the rig, yes, that is true. I wash my hair with baking soda, and then for a rinse, I use apple cider vinegar and water, and that will make it soft enough to get the comb through. Mm-hmm. But I don't wash my hair as often as most people do. I just don't. I mean, I do not agree with whoever decided that they knew better than God did about how often we should put our bodies in water and the way we should put our bodies in water. I think that getting your face in water as if you were like putting your face in a lake is good for us. I think jumping in a lake is good for us. Of course, the lakes aren't as clean as they used to be. And how often would people in the hunter-gatherer world, how often would they be under a waterfall? once a year, maybe. And it probably is on their way to some spiritual, cultural, um, um, uh, 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 spiritual site, because the waterfall and the cave would be in the same place, where they would have maybe had a ceremony that would have been a little more spiritual, and then you would get under the water that way with it hitting the top of your head. I don't think that was the way we were intended to do things. Yeah, I think so too. And even once a week, well, okay. I think brushing your hair is more important. And of course, back in hunter-gatherer times, we women, well, not just women, people would have sat together and finger combed and help each other get the knots out of their hair and the bugs and the whatever else. And you would have done it as a finger combing thing. And there were 3 years of my life when I did not use a comb or a brush. And I only washed my body or hair in natural lake, pond water, whatever. And I finger combed, natural air dried and finger combed my hair. And I wouldn't use a brush. I wouldn't use a comb. I wouldn't use a toothbrush. I tried that for 3 years. It's quite an experiment. It's good for you. It's quite a rewilding thing. Okay, anything else? We kind of got off on this little different subject. Okay, wash your hair with baking soda and vinegar. Yeah, great advice about that. Oh yeah, the wind guards for stove are really important. Okay, all right. Yes, that is true that dry shampoo is popular, but dry shampoo's been a thing for a way long time, hundreds of thousands of years. As long as there's been people, dry shampoo's a thing. By the way, if you look it up, you can make dry shampoo out of almost anything. You can make it out of ground beans. You can make it out of things that will put a little tint of color in your hair, henna. But you can use garbanzo flour. You can use, I'm not going to put corn on my body because corn on my body doesn't work well. I can't take it inside. I don't want to put it on the outside. And the way our ground is so polluted with, whatever company it is, y'all get the drift, right? I'm not doing that. If I can eat it, I'll put it on my body. But yes, there are lots of things you can use. You don't have to use just cornstarch. I'm trying to remember. I've tried other things. I'm drawing a blank right this second, but there are lots of things you can use as a dry shampoo. The whole point of the dry shampoo is to kind of soak up the grease that's in your hair. Well, I don't have grease in my hair because of the way I eat. And some people who are big meat eaters have more grease in their hair than people who are more plant-based. I am not 100% plant-based, not at all. But I am super, super, super careful. I had been, in my past, I had been raw vegan for a number of years. But thank you, Iris. Whoops. I hit the wrong part of the screen. Let me go back. Thank you, Iris, for that. I really appreciate that. I'm glad I can share because I don't know why I've gone through all the things I have. By the way, I made a comment the other day to one of my friends that's over on this side of things. And it was, I don't understand why I always wanted a family, right? And my mother didn't want to be my mother. And so, okay. So she was all kinds of people's mother, but not mine. And it was like, I don't understand why I didn't have a family. And then I didn't have a family connection with, my birth family kind of thing. And then why, when I tried to have a family with my ex-husband, why that turned out to be so weird and it wasn't a family. And then even the church I was raised in, I felt like they were family, and then the church like fell apart and isn't even a church anymore. And so those people didn't stay together as a community group. And it was like, I wonder why my life has been this way. I'm not the only one. I'm just saying, oh, well, why? I wonder why God chose this for me. But whatever, it's what I've had. But I'm awful glad that we have this little community, even if it's only 8 or 10 or 15 people on Sundays. I feel blessed that we get to come together no matter what. So but I don't know why God had my life go this way. Maybe after I die and I'm on some other side, maybe I'll find it. But I'm glad I can share with you guys because, I've survived it. All right, and I am way past going to meet my friends at the thank you, honey. I love you guys too. Yeah, a mysterious puzzle. Thank you. And I am so glad that by my choosing to come out here every Sunday morning and being willing to just be the voice out here, that you guys can come on and talk to each other. I love that. And I'm going to go check in with the friends and see if they're still at the potluck or if the potluck is over with and whether I should go down and meet them, or we'll see. But you all have a wonderful day. I hope this was helpful. And if I didn't give you 10 things, I'm sorry, I worked at it. So, and we'll talk next week. Y'all have a good one. Bye. Ciao.